So the TikTok ban is almost certainly coming. I, for one, feel very conflicted about the whole thing because on the one hand, it is definitely not a good thing that a company owned by the Chinese Communist Party owns the most popular app in America. But on the other hand, I really enjoy making videos on it, and it's been really good for spreading my message. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Other apps will fill the void if TikTok does eventually get banned. And a good rule for life that I've learned is that it's usually not useful to complain about things you have no control over. But regardless of how you feel about the TikTok ban, the current bill that is on the table is absolutely terrifying. It fully demonstrates the fact that the push to ban TikTok is not only just about TikTok. A big one that a lot of people have pointed out is the fact that other big tech companies such as Meta have been spending millions and millions of dollars lobbying the government to ban their biggest competitor. But the biggest one that is fully illustrated in this bill is the fact that the government wants to capitalize on people's fears about TikTok in order to maximize their control over our lives. This bill is essentially a Patriot Act for the internet, but on absolute steroids. If you don't know what the Patriot Act was, it was a law that was passed shortly after 9/11. It gave the federal government broad powers to spy on and detain American citizens and foreign nationals that they suspected to be terrorists. And that is exactly what this bill does as well. It gives the Commerce Department the ability to appoint a secretary that has an extremely broad mandate to go after anybody that it deems to be a national security risk. Essentially, if the government decides that you are doing something online that they don't like, they now have the power to go after you. So what happens if the government decides that you're doing something on the internet that poses a national security risk? Well, they get access to everything. And when I say everything, I mean literally everything, from your wireless network, to your video game console, to your financial transactions. Literally everything from your computer to your Ring camera. Anything you own that has internet connection, the government can now seize and search without due process. And if the federal government decides that you're in violation of whatever they've deemed as a national security risk on any given day, the punishments can include $1 million fines, 20 years in jail, and complete seizure of all of your property. On top of all of that, it gives this mysterious secretary the ability to deem any foreign government a national security threat without telling Congress. On top of all of that, they get unlimited money, unlimited power to hire people in order to enforce all of this, and nothing that they do is subjected to a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. So you're not allowed to know how they decided that you are a threat to national security based on what you were doing on the internet. So yes, this is an absolutely terrifying piece of legislation that would end privacy on the internet as we know it. And it also speaks to why a lot of people have a lot of reservations about the government's push to ban TikTok. Because the government and the lobbyists involved in pushing for legislation always have ulterior motives. In this case, it's to severely restrict what you can see on the internet and punish you if you disobey them. In case you were wondering, the bill's chief sponsor is Senator Mark Warner from Virginia. And here is a list of all of the bill's co-sponsors, which essentially run the table of the worst members of the Washington, D.C. Uniparty. A general rule of thumb to follow when it comes to D.C. politics is that if Lindsey Graham signs on to something, it's probably a bad idea.